What's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today on the show we have Sheriff Ian Parkinson and Commander Chad Nicholson with us talking about Sheriff Rodeo. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again, because the last time you came on we had a little glitch and we didn't get to air it, so here we are talking about it again.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So awesome. So first off, we want to thank you for your service that you guys do. You guys work the hardest out there, and Sheriff, I mean, you take care of business, and we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
So, but let's talk about Sheriff Rodeo. So tell me a little bit why and how this thing came about. So 2022 was your first year, right?
Correct.
And so who was the mastermind behind this idea?
Well, I'm going to say the production mastermind is Chad. I think we both, Chad's participated in, rodeo his whole life. For me, it was attending the San Bernardino Sheriffs Rodeo and being exposed to that and what kind of draw it did for the community and what kind of connection it made for law enforcement with the Western way of life. So Chad and I started talking about it a few years ago. The possibility, but it really came together probably less than a year before the first one. So a couple years ago, we started discussing it, and with Chad's background, it was the perfect fit for us to kick it off.
Wow! And so, Chad, with your connections, and probably the supporters and everybody that you're able to make this idea come to light.
Yes, sir. So like the sheriff had said, we talked about it a few years ago about producing a rodeo here in San Luis Obispo County. And, I have a background in competition or competing in rodeo, but then also producing team roping events, for the last decade or so. And coming from a cattle ranching family, I'd been around the sport of rodeo, quite a bit throughout my life. So I told the sheriff that, it's something that I felt would really go well here in the county. But if we did it, we wanted to make sure and do it right. And because you only get one chance to make a first impression on anything in life, especially a production like this. So we wanted to do it at the fairgrounds because they have the premier facility here in the county. We wanted to just have a top-notch production, top-notch, stock, competitors, a good concert afterwards, and just really put on a good event for the community that brought the community together, that celebrated the Western way of life, the sport of rodeo, and law enforcement.
So, obviously there's more of deputies and administration involved with this. So when you guys went to them and said, hey, we're going to put on a Sheriff Rodeo, what was their thought? Well,
first it's the Sheriff's Advisory Foundation that really supported. It's a nonprofit made up of volunteers. So we needed their backing because we needed some seed money, but really we needed a lot of help. We needed a lot of boots on the ground. I think we had a pretty clear plan of what we wanted, but we really needed that outside entity involved financially and support-wise for it. So we went to them, first and sold them, the idea. And they jumped on board. Whatever we really needed. So that's really what kicked it off. I was going to mention one other thing is that, in planning the rodeo, we didn't want to take from any other local events. We wanted to be at a time that people were kind of hungry to go outside and enjoy a rodeo and concert. And we had two major events. We have the Mid-State Fair, and then we also have an April Cal Poly rodeo. And so we're big supporters of Cal Poly rodeo and also the fair. So timing-wise was pretty critical for us to find the right time of year.
And it's pretty awesome because we really live in that community that, a rodeo is something that is very well received. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of people that live here that participate, in rodeo events all over the country, really. So it's really cool to see. So going back to last year, so now we're, almost getting ready for the second round of this. So looking back on the first year, how was the success in your mind for year number one?
I think it was an astounding success. I knew that we would get good support. Like you said, we have a big supportive community for the sport of rodeo. I didn't think it would be that successful on year one in our inaugural year. We had, between 4,000 and 5,000 spectators there.
Wow, that's great.
And that place sells out, the outdoor arena sells out at 7,000 is the rodeo capacity there. So we have every expectation to come close to selling it out this year. But it was just, it was very successful. And I know, going back to what you had said a few minutes ago about us producing it, I just want to make sure all of our listeners know, and for those that didn't attend last year, us at the Sheriff's Office, we are the producers of the rodeo, but the competitors that compete in the rodeo are top-notch, cowboys and cowgirls from all over the state. So you have professional rodeo cowboys and cowgirls, as well as locals that go through qualifying events to be able to compete in our finals. There's kind of a misconception out there that these are a bunch of cops competing, and,
Right.
and that's not it at all. We're just the ones backing it and producing it for the community, but this is top-notch, rodeo competition.
And I'll just add to that is that I think we knew early on that it was going to be successful in the sense that we had a lot of people stepping up as sponsors. They really wanted to be involved early on. They really liked the idea early on. What I think I didn't expect is to see the crowd that we got. We thought, okay, this is the first year. It's it's kind of a work in progress. Let's see how it goes. We were pretty overwhelmed with how many people showed up, and I think even our vendors that were there to sell and support were very overwhelmed as well. They had no idea it was going to be that many people showing up, and it really just that excitement carried on for months after, and so. We really feel strongly that this is going to be a sellout year. We had so much interest from so many people, and we used to kind of joke about it. Months after, we kept running into people who are like, I heard about it. I'm so sorry I missed it.
Yeah.
Didn't know about it. And so now the word is out, and they understand what it is, and how much fun people had. That I think it's going to be a big year.
Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and Randy, like I was alluding to earlier, we try to do everything top notch. So like even our sound production, we have a sound production company that comes in, and the lights and the sound and the rigging and everything with the main grandstand stage is like a fair concert, and our rodeo announcer, he comes out from Oklahoma, and our special effects sound man is from Southern California. And this isn't your little backyard rodeo. This is something that we want people to have a great time and then have a blast at the concert and get a full concert like you would get at the fair.
Well, yeah, and going back to last year, just all the events. You had, it was a great day, weather-wise. It was, warm. It was, even into the evening. At one point, you guys lost power, which obviously and quickly got resolved with the PA system in the sheriff truck.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I thought that was definitely hometown country rodeo feel right there. Yeah. But the competitors, I know last year in the steer wrestling, the steers won. I don't think any of them got ridden or got taken down. So, but like I said, all the way around, it was just a great production of a rodeo, and everybody that I talked to, everybody who was around it, everybody had a really good time. So, hats off to the whole production squad for last year. Yeah. And then afterwards, you got the concert by Joe and Martina, which that was, there was people all over in the arena dancing.
They loved it.
Well, I know the sheriff and I had talked before, and everybody on our committee. We have a chief deputy, Nate Paul, that's been instrumental in a lot of the planning and developing of this rodeo as well. But we had talked before, and we said we wanted to make this a family-oriented event to where the families could bring their kids out and just have a good time at the rodeo. And I distinctly remember last year after the rodeo was over and the concert was going, and being in an elevated point in the arena grounds there, and looking down and seeing all the parents dancing on the arena floor with their kids to the Joe and Martina concert. It was exactly what we were hoping would the rodeo would produce. So it was perfect.
Yeah, I think everything we designed, everything we did, every little thing. Having Sheriff Woody from Toy Story out there shooting T-shirts into the stand for kids and trying to make it for everybody. And I think, you know, Chad's exactly right. At the end, to see all the families out on, you know, the arena floor just having a good time is exactly what, you know, our vision was.
I think the best one for me, the best performance was when you had the SWAT out there trying to get the tag off the steer.
Yeah,
I mean that was
you know, that was the fan favorite, I think, and you know, really for our listeners, those guys had never ever done that before. I mean, these are guys, those are actual SWAT cops, and they do not come from the sport of rodeo. They'd never been around cattle like that. So I literally pulled them to the side right before the event started and told them what they had to do. Like, as soon as that steer is roped, then you need to go pull that ribbon off the tail. And it was hilarious. And some of them did, they all did phenomenal.
I got to admit though, I was a little nervous.
Oh my gosh.
These are my employees that are doing it. Now they're on their own time. However, they're out there, and there were some wild steers out there.
Absolutely.
I mean, a couple of them almost got kicked pretty good, and I was worried. So I was happy to get through it. I know the crowd loved it. I know the guys that participated just had a blast.
Oh my gosh, it was probably the best part. I mean, that was like comedy 101 right there. That was great.
It's great.
So let's talk about this year. So now fast forward to May 13th, right?
Correct.
Which is our next Sheriff Rodeo. So what do we have on cue for this year?
So it's going to be a lot like last year. A few little changes are the qualifying events that our competitors compete in to make our finals that night. A handful of those events will be produced the morning of at the fairgrounds. So our team roping qualifier, our sort and rope qualifier, sorting, so on. There's going to be a handful of qualifiers that are produced ahead of time, our barrel racing, our breakaway roping, and then there's some events that are invitational, like our steer wrestling, and then new this year is bull riding, and I know that's a fan favorite.
Nice.
So we are really, really excited for the bull riding. I can't thank Premier Ag, one of our premier sponsors, enough for everything that they've done to support our rodeo, and especially the bull riding event. We are extremely excited to announce, this is the first time we've announced it, we haven't even put it out on social media or anything, that our bull riders this year competing in the bull riding are going to be PBR bull riders from the Velocity Tour.
Oh, nice.
Premier Ag and Glenn McWilliams and his whole crew has set that up. We're going to use PBR bucking stock. We have PBR bullfighters that are coming. Alex,
world
champion to fight bulls. So, like we say, when we do things, we want to do it right, and they've been extremely supportive and phenomenal. So it's going to be a great event. And then to cap it all off, we have Fillmore, who's going to play, and they're a bigger up and coming band out of Nashville, and he's got a Kane Brown type sound to him, country music sound, and toured with Pitbull out of all people here last year, and very big following. So he's going to play a phenomenal concert.
And we did that a little different this year. I mean, we're fortunate to have Joe Martina, and I know they're not locals, but kind of locals, you know,
they're
to us.
South County.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe's family's grandmother, I believe, is down in South County.
But they you know, they have a job, the daytime job, you know, and coming out of Nashville, we were very fortunate to get them, and they were, I can't say, you know, good enough things about them. This year, you know, we were debating what to do. Fortunately, we have a friend who is works for Live Nation, and he actually books acts. He actually books all the acts for the fair too.
Oh, okay.
And so we approached him during fair time, and he agreed to help us out. And so they gave us a list, and the committee went through his top, I don't know, what do you give you, top 5, top 10 list of acts, and we picked this one, and we're very pleased with what's going to happen. It's
very cool.
It's a real deal.
And another thing, Randy, that we're offering this year is, as you know, at the fairgrounds, the outdoor arena, there's 2 skyboxes, and one of the skybox was used last year, and that was for our sponsors and, you know, the sheriff's designee, you know, invitees and so on. This year we have the other skybox that we're offering a ticket package for. It's a VIP ticket package, and fans can purchase a ticket to be up there, and it's a catered skybox, you know, with your own bar, your own restrooms. You get a couple free drink tickets, and a few other things that go along with it. So that's one of the ticket options that that's available for this year's rodeo.
Wow, you guys are stepping it up. I mean, you guys just might be the rodeo to go to every year.
We hope
well, I
so.
mean, you guys have, you have your qualifiers.
Yes, sir.
And so you guys give out cash prizes and buckles. I mean, you guys are, I saw some of the posts last year of the winners and what they won. I mean, it's not just, budget, we'll give them, a ribbon.
Right.
I mean, you're giving them some good stuff.
Oh yeah, we got Resistol as one of our sponsors, and they give all the winners hats. We've got
Cactus
Saddle, jackets, pads.
Yeah, jackets, pads, best ever pads. We have Riding Warehouse is a big sponsor. We have numerous sponsors, and they've all made that possible. A Cut Above Buckles makes all of our buckles. Barrel House, they're a huge sponsor. Our premier sponsors are Premier Ag, Barrel House Brewing, which they've been phenomenal. Borhone GMC, the Hearst Ranch, and then the Long Branch Saloon as well. And
awesome.
Without all of our sponsors, none of this would be possible, but especially those 5, they've been amazing. And then Resistol, Cactus Saddlery, Prefert has sponsored like our roping shoots and done custom roping shoots for us. And we've just had a lot of support. And going back to what you were saying, Randy, on the payouts and the prizes to our contestants, we are trying to take care of them in every capacity we can. In a lot, the way rodeos or jackpot events are set up is, contestants pay an entry fee to enter, and then whoever's producing the event holds out a certain percentage for themselves to make profit or to pay their crew and so on. We don't hold out anything. We pay it all back to the contestants, and then we get additional money from sponsors and try to add to it. Obviously, we have expenses to cover that we try to do through sponsorships and so on, but we're not holding a portion of the contestants' entry fees out for ourselves. This is all going back to them. So they make money at the qualifier events and then some additional money at the finals as well, on top of prizes.
So the ultimate purpose of the Sheriff Rodeo, you said it, a number of times so far. It's not about making the money. What is it? What's the purpose of it? Is it, law enforcement awareness? Is it family community?
No, it's I think it's more. It's about community, giving people a very affordable option to go out with their family and have a good time. And the sponsorship from us, the fact that we're doing it, yes, we want that connection with our community. Law enforcement does, and we do invite all law enforcement agencies in the county in. They actually, if they're active law enforcement, they get a free ticket to get in. So we love that interaction, but it's really designed to be a community event. And as Chad said, at the end of the day, it's not about making money. It's about having a good time with the community and a solid event that they really enjoy. And it was, our first one was coming off the heels of COVID. So, people were on lockdown and they needed, a reason to get out. But that wasn't really the reason. It was just to bring everybody together.
And so going forward, as you guys prepare for this, phase 2 of it, so what little tweaks did you learn last year that you're going to incorporate into this event?
I think for us it's just overall logistics, and because it was our inaugural year last year and we had an idea of how we wanted it to run, but there was a handful of us that were doing everything. Like I said, myself, the Chief Deputy Nate Paul, and a few other key committee members. This year we've grown the committee significantly, but people don't realize the logistics that go into planning something like this. Everything from your security plans, your parking plans, your just porta potties, like everything. You're producing a major community event on top of the event itself and the rodeo and the way that it runs and the qualifiers and so on. So I think for us is just having additional committee members, bringing additional people on board to help out and assist with the rodeo, even if it's something as simple as, like we said, the skyboxes, and making sure that those are catered properly and decorated nicely, and you're giving the fans and the ticket holders the appeal that they want when they go to a premier event like that. talk to our committee all the time. I say, envision yourself driving to the rodeo and you don't want any questions asked. You want to know exactly where to turn. You want to know where to park. You want to know which way to walk. You want somebody to escort you here. Like, you just want it to feel like a top-notch premier event. So that's what we've been working on.
Yeah, and I think growing our sponsorship, and not in the sense of money necessarily. Obviously, we need money to produce the thing. It was more our partnership with the community. I mean, Chad mentioned some of them, but behind the scenes, Chad had the idea of adding bulls. Our bucking chutes, our Cal Poly Rodeo is loaning them to us. Those are partnerships that we really want to forge through this, and I think that's why we saw kind of our sponsorship grow, because people wanted to be part of it. And whether they're donating something in kind or whether it's money, that's an important part of bringing us together and making it a community event.
And I think that's a lot to do with sponsorships. It's not so much you want to get something out of it as much as it is to support the event.
Right.
And so, like us, we want to support the event. We want as much, people to know about it versus hearing, about it after the event. But, that's the purpose of the sponsorships, and in my opinion. So,
well, at the end of the day, the money that we do make goes into the Sheriff's Foundation, and the Sheriff's Foundation is all about putting it back into the community law enforcement. So things that we're not budgeted to be able to buy, things that a local police department just doesn't have the budget to buy. That's the role of the foundation, to actually help buy those items for us. I mean, a ton of stuff over the years they have bought for us. They've helped us build buildings, things that the taxpayer is not paying for necessarily. So whatever we do make, we don't get. It goes straight into the foundation, and really the community ends up benefiting from it again.
It's almost like boosters.
Yes,
they're like the boosters for the sheriff department.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
awesome. That's great. So, Chad, do you guys participate, or
I know I participated last year.
You participated last year,
and he won.
Yeah.
His team won. I remind him of that. He's the president. He's not supposed to win, but he won.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. But
what was your takeaway, you think? I mean, your own participation part of it. Not only are you the promoter and helping to put it all together, what was your takeaway from it as a participant?
I thought it was great. Yeah, it was a great production. Like I say, you can, as a contestant, the events that are top notch, and then the ones that are maybe lower level, or that feel that way, and just the crowd, the sound, the announcer, everything from like the back numbers and the way they're designed and set up, and the check-in process and all of that. Like, that's what we tried to create, is a great environment for the contestants where we take care of them. And I felt like it was a really good rodeo. There's some things that we can do better, and improve upon. But we hold ourselves to a high level. You watch some of these rodeos, and it's hard to, hold yourself to that standard. But you look at like the American Rodeo, or Rodeo Houston, or San Antonio, or some of the other big ones, and I like watching them on TV or wherever, or going to them, or the NFR, and saying, I love the way that's designed. I want to mimic that,
And I, like I said, as far as like for me sitting in the stands, I mean, it looked like a production, like you'd been doing this for quite some time,
Well, and I commented on that too. I mean, Chad pretty much worked from the beginning to the end. So even though he was competing, he didn't get to, sit back and enjoy it. He had to be down on the floor helping move things along. But one of the things that I really noticed, which I really like, if you've been to the NFR, you've seen that it's seamless from event to event. There's always something to kind of keep you occupied. And so I think that was kind of one of the things we wanted to see, that it flowed very well. And I, as somebody that got to watch the bulk of it, I thought it flowed, very nicely.
And part of that too, our stock contractor that we hire for the rodeo, or to assist with the production, is Danny Leslie and Average Joe Productions, and he was, a big part of that. Him and his wife Ellie and their crew, of even giving pointers of, okay, let's run the events in this order so it'll stay fluid, and we'll have time. For example, if we need to set up a barrier on this timed event, then we can run this specialty act in the middle while we're working on things. So that's little things that we could improve on even more so this year. But I know him and his crew were very, very helpful with that.
Awesome. And like I said, family friendly. I mean, you couldn't ask for more of a safer event to be, take your family to, right? So, awesome. So let's go over one last time. Yeah. Qualifiers. Give me the qualifier dates and the event and how people can buy tickets.
Okay, so majority of our qualifier dates are going to be the day of the rodeo, so May 13th, Saturday morning. They'll start at 8 in the morning in the covered arena there. Those qualifiers should be done by about 2, no more than 3 o'clock. So those contestants and our production crew can have time to get ready for our main performance in the outdoor arena. And then we have a couple other qualifiers that are produced earlier in the week. I believe it's that Wednesday night before. I forget the date off the top of my head. Is our barrel racing qualifier here in Paso Robles, and then the Saturday before is when we have the breakaway qualifier. Like I say, the bull riding, the steer wrestling is invitational only, and people can buy their tickets at SLOSheriffsRodeo.com, and there's a link on there that'll take them straight to the Eventbrite website. You can go to the Eventbrite website and just search for SLO Sheriffs Rodeo. You can go to any of our social media handles, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, and there's links that'll take you to the sites to buy tickets. But I can't stress enough to people to please purchase your tickets ahead of time. I know it's $10, and a lot of people say, oh, it's only $10. I'll show up and buy a ticket the day of. We've had a lot of pre-sale tickets to date, and it's going to only continue to get more and more. And as we said earlier, there's a capacity in that outdoor arena of only 7,000. So I just don't want to see 4,000 or 5,000 people show up the day of thinking everybody's going to get in, and then we potentially have to turn people away.
Yeah, and the same with the Skybox. He mentioned the Skybox earlier that we're selling, kind of premier seating to. That's going to be gone very quickly, and so if people are interested in sitting up there, they'll buy those tickets in the same way Chad just described, but they need to get on it real quickly. We don't want to be able to have to turn away anybody. The reality is we can only handle so many people in there. And so we don't want the fire marshal breathing down our neck.
And Randy, just to remind everybody, it's $10 for adults. Kids 12 and under are free. And then, law enforcement, employees with a law enforcement ID are free. But regardless if you're free, you still need to go on the website and you can print or get a QR code for a free ticket, because we still have to account for every body that comes through there. So they still got to go on the website. You can grab your free ticket off there if you qualify for a free ticket.
Wow. Yeah. And so that's May 13th.
May 13th.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
at the Paso Robles Event Center.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And then the concert will be immediately after the rodeo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sheriff.
All right, Randy,
thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you, sir.
Yep,
Appreciate
thank you
it.
very much. We really appreciate, again, your service and everything you guys do for the community. Because, like I said, we know, around here there's been a lot of stuff going on, and you guys jump in both feet and take care of business. And we appreciate it. Looking forward to the rodeo, too. So much success again.
Well,
thanks,
Randy.
Randy.
For your support.
Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for Sheriff Parkinson and Commander Chad Nicholson coming in, talking about the Sheriff Rodeo, May 13th at 6 p.m. at the Paso Robles Event Center, guys. Get your tickets early, $10. They're going to sell out, guys. Trust me, this is a super awesome event. You don't want to miss it. But, guys, we can't do this without our sponsors, and we would like to thank them. Escalar Wines, Wine Travelers Hideaway, Rancho Sestero Meat Cutting, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, El Red Rooster Taco Truck, Paso Robles Furniture, Amy and Jamie's Place, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, Pacific 805 Spas, and now Story, Termite, and Pest Control, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time.